Hey everybody, and welcome back. This time we're going to touch on something a little bit different. I'm going to once again do anime recommendations, but as I stated in one of my older videos, there is a lot more out there than shonen. Shonen being the popular, more or less battle anime aimed at a younger male audience. Now, it may not seem that way in this country as it's primarily liked by a lot of older people, but it is actually written and designed for people of a younger age group. That does not necessarily retract from the violence. A lot of other countries have a different kind of threshold for how much violence can be shown to different age groups. However, tangent aside, this time I'm going to give a list of some anime recommendations for action shows that are non-shonen. So these aren't going to be as popular, though there are some on here that definitely are fairly popular among the people who've kind of branched out from shonen. So this list I think is going to be helpful for people who are looking for something within the medium that still fits with that action subgenre, but kind of skews away from the mainstream norm shows. No hatred to a lot of them. I, for one, have been very much enjoying this season of Jujutsu Kaisen, which is a shonen show, but I think if you just kind of pigeonhole yourself to only watching shonen, you are definitely missing out, and these are some of the shows that I highly recommend you check out. I think you're really in for some really good stuff here. So first off, I'm going to start with Akudama Drive. So criminals known as Akudama carry out mysterious missions given to them by a black cat. They don't trust each other or see eye to eye. A civilian girl is mistaken for one of these Akudama, and it's all she can do to go along for the ride and survive. This one was insane. So I came into this one as a seasonal watcher, and I really wish I could go back in time and just wait until the entire first season ran to be able to jump in and check this one out. Almost every single show has a cliffhanger, every episode has a cliffhanger, and it is absolutely astounding. The artwork, the fight scenes, the choreography, everything in this show is immaculate. It is just a very well done show with very well fleshed out characters and just some of the coolest fights I've seen in the last few years. I highly recommend this one to pretty much anybody who is really looking for it is a shorter show, so you're not going to have to sink into 1,000 episodes. It just ran for one season, which is honestly kind of a shame. There are several on this list that only did one season. However, I believe that Akudama Drive finished the story within that first season. I could be wrong. Don't yell at me if I am. But what you get within that season is truly remarkable. Definitely check out Akudama Drive. Now, next up is it's one of a couple shows that within the anime community, people have been chanting for a season 2 for a long time, and that is Deadman Wonderland. So, the basic premise is Ganta is the only survivor when a mysterious man comes into his classroom and slaughters his entire class. He's framed of the deed and sent to Deadman Wonderland, which is the most twisted prison ever built. Ganta and the other prisoners are forced into brutal death matches for the amusement of the masses. He soon discovers that he has a mysterious power to defend himself that may also lead to discovering the secret of the mysterious man who framed him. Now I watched this one almost a decade ago, and it truly was a show that I very much enjoyed. The way that the animation is, the way that the prison is set up, the way that the death matches are set up, everything is done with this oddly dark carnival vibe that is just something unique upon itself, I would say. Once Ganta realizes he can make blood weapons with his own blood, it starts to become something that is very interesting. his power is similar to the main character from Beyond the Boundary, but not quite. But the mystery behind the show, the way the show is set up, and how it's executed are done very, very well. However, I will say that it truly did deserve another season to more fully flesh out this story. And I can't remember if it was Gigguk or if it was Joey the Anime Man that said that lately anime have just been trailers for manga. I think in circumstances like this, that does kind of hold true, where you can get into something, but unless it's a mainstream property, sometimes it just doesn't continue on. Now there are going to be at least, I think I've got 3 on this list that are similar to that. But don't let that stop you. If anything, it could get more people watching it, and then, you know, maybe hoping and praying that we get a season 2 of Deadman Wonderland. But it is truly a good show. Now, this next one is less one series and more of an entire IP. Now, I'll go ahead and explain that. So I'm now going to talk about, out of this list, honestly, probably, in my opinion, the best choreographed, best animated action series, bar none if we're counting a lot of the offshoots and side stories, and that's going to be the Fate series. Now, I'm not going to get into all of them. Gigguk already has a very long video trying to explain the storyline of Fate, because there are so many different offshoots and there's so many different series. But I'm just going to kind of stick with the mainline series. So that's going to be Fate Zero, Fate Stay Night, and Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works. So now the main basic premise of this series is a group of sorcerers all summon servants, I guess you would call them. So basically they are all archetypes. So you have things like Caster, Berserker, Saber, and each one of these archetypes shows up to do battle with the people who summon them in a holy grail war. So that it is a fight to the death to see who can claim the grail for themselves to get any wish that they want. Now, the story can get extremely complicated. I will say that it is, most of this is actually based off of an older visual novel. I'm in the middle of the visual novel. It is extremely long. It is very complicated. It is very lore heavy, but it is extremely well done. This mainline series tends to take certain Holy Grail wars out of the timeline and show them as full series. So within that, Fate Zero, Fate Stay Night, Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works are probably going to be the main 3. You can get away with watching any of those individually, but you will have questions. Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, out of that main line, is going to be the newest one out of those 3, and oddly enough is where I started, went back and watched everything, got caught up, and it made a whole lot more sense. Now, there's a lot of contention on if you should start with Fate Zero or Fate Stay Night. Technically, I believe Fate Stay Night came first. However, Fate Zero is the prequel within the story. It gets very complicated. However, it is worth it. They're not crazy long seasons. The story, you can wrap your head around. It's not too bad as long as you know the main basic premise of these people are battling basically for a wish. Now, also, I will say that all of their summoned servants, while I said they did have Saber, Berserker, Caster, these are the archetypes. So another cool thing about the lore is all of these archetypes summon the essence or the spirit of a warrior who fits that archetype from either real history or fictional history. For example, Saber, King Arthur. So you have a lot of interesting lore that fits within those, and the person that goes into these individual archetypes all depends on the artifact that was used to summon them. Now, saying all of that, you can also, there's two other offlines that I will recommend. Fate Apocrypha is a different take. It's a separate timeline within the Fate universe where it is a fake Holy Grail war. It is also extremely, extremely interesting. There are more battlers within that one, but that one is also very good. And the newest is Fate Strange Fake. So Strange Fake is the newest one, but it has only released one OVA so far. But I've recently seen that they are working on a new series, and I'm extremely excited about this one. But Strange Fake is a little bit different, as this one takes place in the United States. So there are guns in the OVA, which is the Fate America. It is also very, very good. If anything, if you're even moderately interested and you want a teaser, you could always watch Strange Fake. It's going to be the slightest time commitment into the full series, but it will kind of give you an idea at the quality that goes into these shows. The budgets on these are astronomical. I've watched near 400 complete series, and I've never seen anything with the amount of budget put in than the Fate series. It is something, it is usually the very first show that I recommend to action people when they're trying to get out of shonen is the Fate series, because of you're outside of some of the brand new shows doing, like Jujutsu Kaisen, for example. One of the newest episodes, fight choreography, and that was mind-blowing. But the Fate series does that in almost every single episode. It is constant just insanity, and it is something that if you've not seen it, you should definitely check out. And if you have seen it, you will understand why I'm having such a hard time trying to explain it, because there's so much to it. So without further ado, I'm going to move on from the Fate series and go into my next pick, which is going to be Gleipnir. Shuichi Kagai isn't really human. He can kind of transform into a monster, sometimes. One night he ends up saving a girl who the next day shoves him off a roof to confirm his ability to transform. From there we have a mystery involving monster battles and a missing sister. So now this one is another similar to Deadman Wonderland, on where we really needed another season. The show set up for a very, very interesting storyline. The battles, while not as battle heavy as some of the other shows, were absolutely wonderful. The choreography, fights were insanely well done. And the only thing I can say is some people might be turned off by the character design. So if you look up Gleipnir, however you want to pronounce it, if you look it up, you will see what appears to be a mascot costume. So that is Shoichi's transformation. There's more to it, but I will let you check into that. That does not hinder what honestly is a very, very solid show with a very solid story, and honestly very, very solid animation. So don't let the strangeness of that deter you. Okay, next up we're going to get into one that is, I'm going to say, a little controversial just because of the production company on this one, but this one is going to be K. So basically, kings are people who are bestowed with supernatural powers and form clans to battle. After a viral video of an assassination spreads, Yashiro Isana is accused of homicide. From there, all hell breaks loose. So honestly, on the story on this one is a little convoluted. It's honestly kind of known for that, but I did truly enjoy this one. I didn't think I was going to. Now, when I mentioned the production company, this one happens to be Go Hands. Go Hands is known for just ridiculously insane camera work. Their angles are something to be desired. It's as if they were given a $20 million budget and they're going to be like, all right, all of it's going into cameras. and they just whip those things around everywhere. Their most recent shows that they've done are The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses and The Masterful Cat is Depressed Again, all showcase a lot of that. The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses being the worst offender of that, where you literally, it's like somebody has a GoPro and they're just the entire show. K is not terrible when it comes to that, but they definitely do have some unique choices when it comes to the camera angles in the show. And it's a little CGI-esque, but not fully, and I think it's done moderately well. I'm not too upset about it, and I usually am one that gets relatively upset about CG. So when it comes to that, honestly, maybe give it a chance. It's definitely one that is enjoyable if you get into it. And the character designs are really neat. They're definitely different. Moving on to a newer one on this list, and this one came out of left field. This is an anime original, no backstory when it came out, and that's Lycoris Recoil. Man, an organization of schoolgirl assassins stopping terrorist attacks. That is the main basic premise of the show. If that's not enough, we have Takina, who is a disgraced bullheaded member who is sent out of the organization, not fully out, but after putting the members of her group into danger, she is sent to work with a solo acting member named Chisato, who is extremely bubbly and airheaded. But Takina does not realize how talented Chisato truly is. When I say this one came out of left field, it looked like a generic throwaway show when it came out. I don't think anybody expected it to be as truly good as it became. The gunfights are spectacular. The martial arts is spectacular. You do have some slice of life here and there, but not too much. It's generally more like a spy action show that is just done superbly well. I'm fairly sure that they're only going to do one season of this one, so it is a one and done show, so you can knock it out in about 4 hours. Entirely worth your time. Believe me when I say this. Lycoris Recoil is entirely worth your time. If you're only going to watch one on the... there's another one that I would recommend more, but this one is truly phenomenal. Please check this one out. Next up on the list is going to be the Idaten Deities Know Only Peace. It's been 800 years since the battle gods sealed the demons away, and they've been enjoying a peaceful life. But that's all about to change. Another one that kind of came out of nowhere for me. This is a lesser known Mappa show. So I'm fairly certain it was moderately popular within the not ultra, but within the people that kind of watch, the seasonal watchers did give this one a lot of eyes on it because Mappa did it. This one I believe is based off a webcomic. I'm not sure if it's a manhwa or if it's a Japanese webcomic. Do not yell at me on this one. I did not do that much research because I was just excited to record this video. But man, Mappa doing overtime on this show. The art style, super duper unique, very... I don't think I've seen a show quite like this animation-wise. There are little bits of it that remind me of FLCL. There are little bits of it that remind me of Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt. But at the same time, it's fully on its own. The fight scenes are insane, over the top. I'm talking the craziest Dragon Ball fight is trying to be the Idaten fights. It is absolutely insane. It's they're literally blowing entire cities up one after another. It's just crazy. Like I said, Mappa doing insane animation, and this was some years back, and I do think that I would like to hear more people talk about this one. I do think it got a little bit of a clamor here when it came out, but I want more people to talk about it because I want more of it. All right. Now, I mentioned a minute ago that there was another show that if I could only recommend one, that's this next one. Because I have told so many people about this show, not a single person has gone and watched it, and it's disappointed me because I truly feel that it is a modern masterpiece. It is Vivy Fluorite Eyes' Song. Basic premise is an AI named Matsumoto appears before the world's first autonomous humanoid AI, Vivy, who is working as a AI Vocaloid singer at an amusement park. Her mission is to rewrite history to stop the upcoming war between humans and AI. I remember reading about this show, and I remember seeing a short snippet trailer and not really understanding, like, is this just a Vocaloid show? Is it a music show? Because they really harped on her being a singer, an AI singer. That did not prepare me for the first 5 minutes of that first episode. And that first 5 minutes did not prepare me for the rest of that season. It is an insanely good time travel, sci-fi, AI, almost cyberpunk tech. The show is so difficult to describe because it touches on so many different genres, but the animation is astounding. The fight scenes are breathtaking. The writing is spectacular. The story is amazing. I said it when it came out. I'll say it now. I truly feel it is a modern masterpiece. Now, I do think there are some others that have come out recently that also fit that. We have Odd Taxi, we have Pluto, but within the vein of action, I think Vivy Fluorite Eyes' Song is up there with some of the best sci-fi shows, truly. I know that there are a lot of people that say, oh, it got attention when it came out. I truly feel that it was not enough attention. I feel that it is that good. If you only watch one out of this list, if you don't care, if you're not, the action is not the main thing for you, watch Vivy. If the action is the main thing for you, watch Fate. But yeah, so these are my action recommendations, non-shonen. Is there anything here that you have seen? Is there anything that you think that I missed? My main purpose of this list was try to get people out of that mainstream just a little bit, just to try and get some of these other shows a little bit higher viewership, because I truly do want more of these sign-in shows, or these shows that push a little bit more towards, not adult or anything along those lines, but something a little bit more that's different than the, hey, we're going to have a tournament arc. Hey, we're going to have, we're all going to go to the beach this day. Hey, we're going to have a main character that's going to become really overpowered by doing the best that he can. These are different than that. These ones, to me, have a little bit more depth of story, where they're trying to tell something a little bit different, where they're trying to go outside of the norm. And this is where, when we get into these stories, I feel is where anime can truly shine. And now I'm going to have other videos later on that are going to talk about some that don't fit within the action genre. I mentioned Odd Taxi. I already did a video about Pluto. But I really do feel that there are certain shows out there that, while yeah, they're critically acclaimed, but they're not getting the respect that I feel within the medium, because they're not truly mainstream, and I think that is a shame. I think by everybody focusing on 5 shows that exist means that we're only getting 3rd, 4th, 5th seasons of those shows, when there are other shows that are truly remarkable that could tell their full story by getting 2 or even 3 seasons. But because they don't have the widespread of attention, they're kind of getting lost in the shuffle. And I truly do think that's a shame. But I kind of have droned on for a while, so without that, I am going to bid everybody farewell. If you were celebrating the holidays this week, I hope you had a very good holiday. If not, I hope you had a good week anyway. And as per always, watch more anime, read more manga. Have a good one, guys.